Hi, and welcome to the Tournament Center. I'm Brian David Marshall, coming to you from the 2008 Magic the Gathering World Championships here in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm with Magic R&D Director Aaron Forsythe. And I wanted to get Aaron into the Tournament Center to talk a little bit about Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
So, when did you guys introduce Planeswalkers? It's like we're going into our second year of existence on these.
Right. We debuted them in Lorwyn. We initially were trying to get them into Future Sight. That's kind of the big gimmick there. We couldn't perfect them in time. We weren't comfortable letting them out then, so we worked on them for a few more months. They came out in Lorwyn. Didn't release any for the rest of that block. A few more in Shards. So I think they're a part of Magic to stay now.
Well, I was in Philadelphia last weekend for the 5K tournament, and just sort of walking around during the Swiss rounds of the Standard, I saw every single Planeswalker, except for Tezzeret, in play in a game one of a match in Standard. I mean, they were clearly a part of it, and as I talked to players, players were talking about, like, well, I have Shriek Maws in my 5-color control deck because I need to have creatures that can have fear to get past Kitchen Finks so I can kill my opponent's Planeswalker. They definitely seem to have had a transformative effect on the way people are playing the game. How hard was that to balance when you talked about wanting them to come out sooner?
Yeah. It was very hard. There's so many numbers on all of them. Cost, loyalty, their abilities, how many turns it takes for them to be able to use their ultimate, how many times they should be able to use their second abilities, that we just had to keep testing and banging our heads off the wall to get them to a spot where they are going to be good and constructed, and I think we did a great job there. They certainly are relevant. I feel like they're not unbeatable, but you want to play them.
It seemed to take a little while for them to sort of gather steam, for people to figure out sort of the new ways to play with these cards. Like Jace Bellerin's a card that we didn't see a lot of early on. There's 5 undefeated decks from Standard yesterday, and there's 3 Planeswalkers. Every single deck has at least 2 Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
Jace Bellerin, in all the Fairy decks. A Johnny Goldmane in one of the White Weenie decks, and a Johnny Vengeant in one of the Vengeant Weenie decks.
Right. No, I think as cards go, they are some of the hardest to evaluate. Like even when Shards came out, and we said, here's some pretty good ones, Elspeth and a Johnny Vengeant, and I think some people looked at them and said, well, I don't think that's very good. And it's just, you can't tell. I don't think you can tell just by reading it if this is good or not. But I think from what the pattern we've set, I would assume they are good.
Right.
We've certainly tried to make them good, and I can't say I expected them to be this good where every top deck in Standard is running some of them, but I mean that certainly is. I think that's a good thing.
How often are we going to see iterations of characters? So we have a Johnny Goldmane and a Johnny Vengeant. Was that deliberate? Like we don't want people playing both of these cards in the same deck?
I mean that rule is more of a flavor rule than a some kind of constructed balancing rule. It's like a Johnny is a character we want people to be invested in. We ran into this problem before with Legends of there's 2 different Kamals, yet you can have them both out, and that's, to some people that's a little silly. And I think as far as like trying to have your game represent, an intellectual property, that is silly. So we said if there are 2 Johnnies, you can have one out, and if your opponent tries to summon him, then it blows them both up. You're going to see iterations of a lot of characters. I think going forward, we want to kind of have a stable of characters that'll be a little bigger than what we have now, but not infinitely huge. Think of it like the X-Men, where you have a dozen characters that people are familiar with, and some of the more popular ones show up more often, and some of the other ones show up less often, but they're always there, and every time you tune in, you'll see some people you recognize.
Right. What's your favorite Planeswalker out of the ones that have seen print so far?
Elspeth, I think. Partially because it's different, partially because it gives white such a good angle, just like making guys, and then the ultimate, which I really like, which isn't kill your opponent. It's just set up this awesome game state that is really hard to deal with.
Right, I'm invulnerable.
Yep, like flip the switch, my stuff can't be destroyed.
Right, and it's a weird effect, right? Because Elspeth leaves play, that effect lingers on. There's not that many cards that have that impact on a game.
After that goes off, still also indestructible. Yeah. I think a lot of people don't know that. But.
No, yeah. So there's wallpaper today on the Magic Arcana. Pretty awesome looking piece of artwork. Nicol Bolas, Planeswalker, rumored for a long time.
Yep.
It's confirmed. Are people going to love this guy?
They are. He is massively powerful. Nicol Bolas was a Planeswalker in our storyline long before any of this happened. All through the Time Spiral story, he was a recurring character, and we kind of revamped what Planeswalker means and changed it from these omniscient godlike beings to kind of just more analogs of what a player might be, that power level. And Nicol Bolas is pretty angry about that. He liked being super powerful. So this picture, I love it. It shows Nicol Bolas being fought by Tezzeret, Ajani, Sarkhan, and Elspeth, all attacking him. I believe that's the art that's going to be on the fat pack for Conflux.
Oh wow, that's awesome. So people are going to love it. Can you tell us anything about it, or are you gonna keep us in suspense?
I'll tell you, he is the most expensive Planeswalker we've made yet, but he is well worth the cost.
Wow. At Palladium ores in the future?
Not so much.
Chromium?
We'll leave the rest of those Elder Dragons where they belong. Elder Dragon Highlander.
In Chronicles. All right, well, there you have it. This is going to be one of the previewed cards, apparently, during preview week, which starts...
First day we do previews in the middle of January.
Okay, so you guys are going to have to wait. But in the meantime, you can go download this awesome wallpaper and, play more Planeswalkers. Don't forget to check out, there'll certainly be some in the top 8 on Sunday.
Yes.
It's hard to imagine that those cards won't advance. I'm Brian David Marshall. This is Aaron Forsythe for the Tournament Center. Thanks a lot.